So to start, you can have your weights off to the side and actually keep your block closer to you. And you're going to come to sit in a Z sit. So your left leg will be reaching back behind you. Your right shin will be parallel to your mat. And you don't have to be like super 90-90. If you're a little bit more compressed like me, that's totally fine. And then if you would like, take your block and put it just like, I don't know, 6 to 8 inches away from your right knee. And then you're going to bring your right hand down onto the mat. And then from here, just think that your left sitting bone is just driving down towards the floor, trying to give yourself a little bit of space in this left hip. You can give it a little bit of a massage if that helps. Also trying to keep that right leg pressing down. Just taking a second here. Take a nice big breath in. Reach your left arm up overhead. You can kind of slide your right arm away if you want. And take a nice side bend here. Breathing into your ribs on the left side. And then drop down to your right elbow. And then keep breathing. But this time press your hips forward so you're getting a nice hip flexor stretch as well. And if this feels good, you can walk your leg back behind you a little bit more, the left leg. And then press into that right hand. Walk your hand back in and feel your sitting bone come down towards the floor. From here, bring your left hand into your hip crease. And you're just going to press your hip forward without changing anything but that rotation of the femur. And then from here, you're going to lift up and spiral around to look over your left shoulder or up towards where the ceiling meets the wall. And then spiral yourself back down, finding that space in your hip. And then again, lift and spiral up. And back down. One more time like this. And then come all the way back down, side bend, up and over towards the left. And then from here, you're going to bring your right hand back down towards the floor, your left arm out to the side. You're going to reach your left arm around to your block or to the floor. Again, if you want that block to give yourself some extra space, you can use one of those. And then press your hips forward and try to rotate a little bit farther. Getting that nice stretch through the left hip flexor, and then open up that arm to the left, and then lower down onto your right forearm, side bend up and over. And then press through the right hand as you lift up. Arms are nice and long. Rotate that left hand towards the floor. Lift the hips, find that rotation. And then bring that left hand back. Lower down to this left or right forearm, press yourself back up, and twist. We're going to do 2 more like this. Then we're going to add a little flexion and rotation, pressing into that forearm, floating your torso up, twist and rotate here. Now with both hands either on the floor or your left hand on a block, right hand on the floor, press your hips forward. Find a little bit of length through the upper back, finding that extension. You can lift your gaze a little, and then press the floor away and find a rounding through your back. Maybe it's just your upper back. Maybe you can get a little more down into your mid-back, and then feel your heels of your hands drag towards your torso as you lengthen your chest through. Maybe you get a stretch on your right glute here, and then press the floor away. As you round, reach back with that the left shin, and then pull yourself through one more time. And then press yourself back to a neutral position. Lift this left arm open. Bring your right forearm to the floor one more time. Press this left hand overhead, and then pick your hips up here. And then lower them all the way down and come all the way up, and you're going to switch sides. So again, keep that block nearby. Swing your legs around so your, right leg is back, left leg is forward. Your block is going to be, if you're using one, 6 to 8 inches or so in line with your left knee. Your right hand's going to come onto the ground. And from here, just take a minute to side bend up and over, reach this left hand, or right hand rather, up to the ceiling, press the floor away, stretching into the rib cage on the right. Feel the little muscles in between your ribs stretch. And then bring that elbow down towards the floor, keep reaching here. One more breath. And then come all the way up and side bend up and over towards the right side. Good. From here, bring your left hand down to the floor, your right hand onto your right hip crease, and you're going to feel that right hip connect down towards the floor. Feel that sitting bone draw down, but try not to let this left knee lift too much. And then twist and rotate. Really focusing on the lift and rotation from the femur, and then feel your spine keep spiraling up and then back down. Feel that connection between the right sitting bone and the floor. And again, twist and rotate. And back down. And lift. You can look over that left shoulder or up towards where the ceiling meets the wall. And back down. This time you're going to bring your right arm out to the side. You're going to twist it around, plant it down on that block, keep lifting and rotate, and then open it out towards the side, and then find your left forearm on the floor. Press up through that arm, twist and rotate. Feel the opening of that right hip, and open and lower down. Lift up. A little bit of a single arm push-up situation here. And back, 2 more. Keep reaching away with that right hand. Next time the hand comes to the block, we're going to pause and add that extension and rotation. So square your hands off here. Uncurl your spine, lift, find that nice extension, opening through the whole front of your body. And then press the floor away as you round. Then pull the heels of the hands back towards your legs as you lift. And then back down, 2 more. And last one. Good, and then pause in this nice neutral position. Bring this right arm back up overhead as you slide down onto your left forearm. Take a nice big stretch here. And if it feels good, lift those hips up. And then come all the way up. You can move your block off to the side. And you're going to come onto all fours. From here, your knees are just under your hips, hands underneath your shoulders, and then let your chest sink down towards the floor by drawing your shoulder blades towards your spine, and then press the floor away as you lift up. Press slightly more on the pinky side of your hand as you press up. Feel that expansion across your back, and then slide all the way in with those shoulder blades like they're going to touch, and then press up and feel them spread across your back. One more time. Good, and now find that neutral position, pressing through the whole heel of your hand. And then you're just going to walk your knees back a few inches, and you're going to send your hips back towards your heels. And press down through the floor. Take a nice child's pose here for a second. And then as you come up, you're going to shift your hips over to the right and then send them forward. You can think about opening up through the torso if that feels good, finding a little extension. And then send the hips over to the left and back towards your child's pose. 2 more to the right, sending your hips over to the right as though you want to, touch the edge of a wall next to you. And then if you want to just come into a neutral position here, you can. And if you want to open up and find that lift the front of your torso, go for it. And then send your hips over to the left and back 1 more time to the right. Ooh. And open and to the left. 3 more to the left. So hips over to the left. If this is too much on your knees, go ahead and fold your mat over. And if your knees are making noise, as long as it doesn't hurt, that's totally fine. And over to the right, one more time. To the left, moving nice and slowly, really feeling your body uncurl. And to the right, and back. Hanging out here in your child's pose for just a second, bring your knees nice and wide. And then come forward into laying down on your stomach. Your legs are wide. And if you'd like, bring your toes just a touch wider than the mat. And you can almost think about squeezing the mat ever so gently from the inner thighs, aka the toes, but that work is coming from the pelvis and the inner thighs. You are going to move everything out of your way. You can bring your weights back by your hips if you'd like. And you're going to extend your arms long overhead, also wider than your mat. Nose is just grazing the floor. And you're going to internally rotate your arms like you're going to give your head a hug with your shoulders. And notice how the weight goes more into the inside edge of your hands. Then you're going to press that weight, press your hand firmly into the floor, the whole thing, and then change that weight over to the pinky side of your hand. As you externally rotate, give yourself space between your ears and your shoulders. And then internally rotate, feel that weight slide in towards the thumb side of your hand, through the center, and then over to the pinky side. As you externally rotate, give yourself that space. 2 more times here. Nothing changes with the pelvis. Externally rotate. And 1 more time. Good. From here, you're going to slide your hands in, making like almost a goalpost position with your arms. And then press your hands into the floor as you lift your head, neck, and shoulders off the mat. And then lengthen yourself all the way back down. Keep thinking about that lift of the pelvic floor. Hip bones are drawing towards one another as you pull. Imagine pulling the arms back towards your hips. You're holding on to this mat with your legs, and then lower all the way back down. 2 more like this. Feeling that support as you lift, and the close of your ribs as well. And then back down. This time as you lift up, pause and hold. Check in on your ribs. Are they like jutting and pressing into the mat? If they are, feel them. Draw together on an exhale, and then try to lift a tiny bit higher. Inhale. Feel those ribs draw in. And then if you'd like, press into your hands and lift yourself all the way up into a nice full swan here, and then lengthen yourself all the way back down by lowering the forearm, the wrist, the forearm, and the elbow to the ground, and lower your head all the way down. We're going to do 1 more of those, or 2 more, just lifting the head, neck, and shoulders, your choice. Inhale on your exhale, lift up, feel the drawing in of your ribs. Feels good. Go all the way up to your hands, lengthen through the back, and then wrists go down, forearms go down, shoulders go down, lengthen all the way to the floor. Give your head a pillow, and shake your hips out from one side to the other. And then from here, you're going to bend your right knee in, and then your left leg is going to come to meet it. Those knees are still wide, and you're going to bring your heels together. Take a nice big inhale here, and then on your exhale, squeeze your heels together as you lift up and lower down. If you need to put a pillow underneath your torso or your hips, or fold your mat over because it's uncomfortable, please go ahead. And if this is too uncomfortable, you can come up into all fours and do this with a single leg at a time. We're going to do 6 more. 5, 4, 3, give it a good squeeze, 2, 1, and then extend those legs long. Go ahead and bring your one cheek to the floor. If your weights ran away, you're going to have the option to use them in a moment, so grab them if you want them. But with your weights by your side, but not in your hands first, extend your arms long. Internally rotate those arms. Externally rotate the arms as you bring your nose to graze the floor, and then press back through the arms as you lift up into a nice little rocket position here, and then lower all the way back down. One more time, just like this. Internally rotate, externally rotate, let the nose graze the floor, and reach up. And then come all the way down. If you want to grab your weights, go ahead and do so. Your arms are going to be nice and straight, palms face up. Take a big inhale, exhale, lift. And then you're going to lower halfway down, regardless of whether or not you're using weights. And then you're going to press back and reach up. And then inhale halfway down, exhale. Again, keep thinking about holding onto that mat with your feet. Two more. And last one, pause at the top, hold. And then lower everything all the way down. Bend your knees in, heels come together. You're going to press your heels up, and then you're going to extend your legs long as you float your torso up. And then lower down with the arms, let them come all the way down, bend the knees in, lift up through the legs. Lower down, extend the legs as you lift up through the torso. And lower down, bend the legs, lift up. Make sure you're really externally rotating through the upper arm as you go to lift. 3 more. 1. Shoulder blades gently draw in towards your spine. 2. And lift up. And lift. Last time. Lifting here. You can leave your legs lifted or lower them down, your choice. You're just going to start to pulse the arms up for 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, lower everything all the way down. Give your head a little pillow. Ooh, rock back and forth from one side to the other with those hips. And then press yourself back into a nice child's pose again. But before you get there, plant your elbows on the floor and get a nice stretch through those triceps. Bring your hands right behind your skull. Ooh. Okay. And now, coming up out of your child's pose when you're ready, and then you're going to come to lay down on your back. You can grab behind your thighs as you gently roll all the way down. And then just plant your feet on the floor. And you're going to have your arms in goal pose position here. And you want space so that you can reach broad across the chest. So you're not like in a weird little collapsed space here. Good. Your mid back is on the mat. You're in a neutral position. You want to feel the lift and support of your abdominals, just gently engaged. Those rib cage are drawing in, your rib cage is drawing in towards one another. It's not splayed up and out. Good. Back of the hands on the mat, and then you're gonna press away, reach those hands up until you start to either feel that stretch in your chest where it feels good and you wanna stop, or where your mid back starts to lift. And then when you're ready, you're going to pause there. Take a big inhale. And then draw the arms back down. We're going to do 4 more. Slide the arms out at your own pace. Trying to breathe into that stretch. Maybe you can get your arms to go a little longer overhead. Or maybe you keep getting to the same position, but your back is not changing. 2 more. And back down, last one. Good, and then pause here with your arms in this goal pose position. You're gonna bring your right leg up into tabletop and lower it back down. And bring it up. And back down. Check in and see what wants to happen. My neck wants to arch, my head wants to go back, my gaze overhead, which makes for less support. Last one on this right side. And all the way down. Lift your arms up overhead a little. Feel that mid-back connection to the floor as you drag your arms in, and then when you're ready, switch sides, lifting and lowering through this left leg. And if this is too much and you want to bring a hand to your abdominals or your ribs, of course, you can do that. 4 more. That right leg is pointed up towards, the knee is pointed up towards the ceiling. 2 more. Think about that sitting bone reaching away as this femur just rolls in the hip socket. Last one. And lower all the way back down. Bring your arms by your side and have your weights close to you if you're choosing to use them. Bring your right foot up into tabletop and your left leg up to meet it. Hands are just down on the mat to start. You're going to inhale as you lower your leg away. If you can go all the way to the floor, you can do that. But if you start to feel your abdominals puff up towards the ceiling or you lose that core connection, consider reducing your range of motion. 4 more on this right leg. 3, 2, again, going for your range of motion. Also, likely no one can see you, so you certainly have nothing to prove. And last one. Switch sides over to the left. If you need to take a second to reset, bring that left hand or one of your hands to your abdominals. Also finding that maybe the range of motion is different between the 2 legs. Relax shoulders, relax face. 2 more. And last one. Good. Pause here with your legs in tabletop. Go ahead and grab onto your weights if you'd like and bring your hands up overhead. Just to start, your arms are going to stay still. You're going to extend your right leg long, opening up through the back of the leg, and then draw it back in. Okay. My leg needed to crack. And then extend the left leg, bring it back in. And then one more time to the right, just extending and back in. And to the left, extend. And then from here, as you extend the right leg just to your range of motion, you're going to lift that left leg or left arm overhead and bring it back in. Right arm, left leg, alternating one side and then the other. Really resisting that weight as it goes overhead and the leg goes out to the side. Alternating here, right and left, and right and left. And if you don't feel comfortable going all the way straight with that leg, no problem. You can also return to marching here with the opposite arm and leg. 2 more to each side. Last one. Good. Pause here with your legs in tabletop. You're going to bring your heels together, knees slightly apart, and you're going to open your legs out to the side in this little butterfly position and then resist to bring them in. And then open them out to the side and then resist to bring back in. And then you're going to bend your elbows wide, palms face away as you open your legs out, and then press your arms up as you draw your knees in towards one another. And then open out to this little chest press and up. And of course your weights, if you're using them, or if you're not, are light. So really think about creating that resistance. Same, you're not squeezing anything with your legs, but try to create that resistance. For 3, 2, last one. Pause here at the top with the arms. Lift them up towards the ceiling. Bring your arms together as though you have one arm, and you're going to send them back overhead with your legs lifted, and then resist to bring back in. If you would rather do this with bent knees, go ahead. Arms go as far overhead as you can without changing anything, and then exhale, bring them back in. Inhale overhead. Exhale up. 4 more. 3. Two. Last one. Good. Now you're going to lower your legs away just a few inches for 6. 5. Arms stay just over your chest. 4. And if you need to do this with bent knees, obviously you can. You can also do this going to 90 and then bringing them in closer to your chest and then back to 90. 2 more. And last one. Good, and then here we're going to combine. So arms and legs go away, resist in. I'm going to do this with my legs and tabletop today. Going just past 90 and then bringing them in past 90. And out. And in. 6 more. 5. Feel that connection, those shoulder blades reaching gently towards your hips, feeling that wrap of the lats. 3. The press of the hands away. 2. And last one. And then bring the knees all the way in, lower your weights. And bring your knees wide to the side. Whatever feels good, gently rocking back and forth, and then bring your hands onto your knees, and you're going to stir your knees or stir your femurs like you're stirring a gigantic pot. You want to try to reach them as far away from you that your arms will allow, as wide out to the side as your range of motion allows. Up, 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 and then in, and then down. One more time in this direction. And then reverse out to the side, reaching wide and down. Three or 4 more. Take 1 or 2 super slow. That feels really good too. And then bring your knees down. And then from here, you're going to press on your legs. Think about creating space through the pelvis. And then bring your arms down by your side. Keep your weights close if you'd like to use them while we bridge in a moment. And then from here, you're just going to press your hips straight up. Find yourself in a nice bridge. Heels drawing toward your shoulders. Gentle tuck under of the pelvis. Your glutes may squeeze as a result, but don't think about just like, I have to clench. Think about finding that engagement rather than the squeeze from that tuck under of the pelvis. Again, if you want your weights in your hands, grab them. You're going to start with your, your elbows close by your side, and then you're just going to let your hips tap down, and then lift up. This time as your hips lower down, you're going to reach your arms up, and then you're going to fly them out to the side as they lift, and then bring them up to the center as they lower. And then fly out to the side, soft bend in the elbow, and down, and up, and down. This doesn't have to be a big movement. Of course, you can make yours bigger than mine. My wall will only allow for so much. For 4. Chest and face, or not chest, but face and neck are relaxed. 2. Last one, leave it at the top. Bring your arms in, and then you're going to pull your arms in close towards your body, and then extend them in line with your hips. Staying in your bridge here, tailbone tucked under, you're going to bring your arms out just to a slight V, and then draw them in. And then reach them out to the side, and then draw them back in, just like you do if you had your hands in the straps on the reformer for 6. 5. Lower your hips if you need. 4. Again, feel that wrap of the abdominals. 2. Last one, lift the arms up in line with your shoulders. Lower the hips all the way down. This time, as you lift the hips, you're going to reach the arms down just in line with your legs. Open out to the side, bring them back in, lower the hips, lift the arms. Soft bend in your shoulders. Lift up, out, draw it in, and lower down. You can either just lower your hips to tap them, or you can make this nice and slow, and you can articulate one vertebrae at a time, your choice. But when you lift the hips straight up in neutral. Heels, again, drawing back towards your hips. 3 more. If you're peeling down, maybe you only get 2 more, or 1 more rather. Last one. Lift up, open out to the side, draw it back in. And then from here, bend the elbows, bring your arms or your weights down, and then bring your arms to this goal pose position one more time. Then peel yourself all the way down, 1 vertebrae at a time. Cross your right ankle over your left knee, and then think about this nice external rotation through the right thigh, that it's like spiraling around, that knee is reaching away. And then if this feels like a good stretch, stay here. If you want to add on, grab behind that left thigh, keeping your head on the ground. You can rock back and forth from right to left, reach your right knee to the right, and then right foot to the left. And then when you find a spot that feels good, just stay there and take a few breaths. 2 more. Last one, lower this leg all the way down. Keep it externally rotated and find your hands behind your head. Think about cradling the base of your skull and then nod your head, neck, and shoulders as you lift up through the torso. And lower all the way back down for 4, 3, 2, trying to get those shoulder blades off the floor. Last one, pause here. Your head presses back into your hands, hands into your head. Steady your hips, and you're going to twist and rotate up and over towards that right leg. Small twist for 4, 3, 2. Last one, pause here while you're rotated. You're going to extend this right leg and then bring it back in, cross it over. Release and lower all the way down. Lift up, twist and rotate, extend this right leg, bring it back in, cross it over, get that little stretch as you rotate back to the center, and down. 2 more. Twist and rotate, lift, extend, bend it back in, and lower all the way down. Lower your head, gently give your hips a little rock from one side to the other, and then uncross your legs. And then bring your left ankle now onto your right thigh. Think about that external rotation of this left thigh, knee reaching away, and then if this is a good stretch, stay. And if you want more, grab on behind that thigh, lowering your head down towards the floor. Really keep thinking about that external rotation. And you can add that little rock back and forth, shifting from the right to the left, kind of using that right knee to help guide that ankle over to the right and then back. 2 more. And find a place where it feels good and hang out there for another breath or 2. And lower that right foot down. Keep this nice external rotation. Again, bring your hands back behind your head. Press the head into the hands, hands into the head as you curl the head, neck, and shoulders up, sliding your rib cage down towards your hips, and then lower all the way down. Find length as you lower. And up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Pause here at the top, twist over to the right, or the left rather, for 6, 5, hips are heavy, 4, 3, 2, last one. Pause here, uncross your leg, extend it out, bend it back in, cross as you lower all the way down. Lift up and rotate, uncross the leg, extend, back in, cross, and down. 4 more. Really think about reaching this right rib cage over to the left hip. One more. And up, and twist, and extend, bend it back in, cross, and down. Let your hips and legs kind of go from one side to the other. And then when you're ready, bring both hips over to the right side of your mat and let your knees fall to the left. You can either have your arms all the way out to the side or in a cactus, your choice. Take a few breaths here. And then lift up and go the other direction. Taking a few breaths. And then roll over onto your right side, coming down onto this right forearm. You can actually move your weights all the way out of the way. We will not need them for the rest of class. So you're here on your side. And from here, you're just gonna press your right arm into the floor and find that lift up and out of your arm, and then float those hips up. And then lower all the way back down. And then float the knees or the legs up and down. If you want to do this to start with one leg extended to lift up and lower, you're more than welcome to, but we are going to add a little clamshell at the top in a moment. 2 more. And last one. Pause here at the top. Open to this clamshell, release back down and lower down. Press up, open, lower, and in. 4 more like this. You can either do it as one swift motion or you can make it kind of 2 parts, your choice. 2 more. Hips are square. Mine were not. Hips are square. And then pause here. Plant your right or left hand rather down on the floor. Think about rotating your hips down, and then you're going to lift and lower. Lift and lower. For 6, 5, think about rounding almost through the torso. 2, 1, pause here. Center yourself, lower all the way down. And then you're going to come back onto your right glute, and you're going to lift your legs up into tabletop. Your left hand can be either behind your head or on the floor. You're still in that right forearm, pressing the floor away. Extend your legs out and bring them in. Extend them out and bring them in. Out and in. 6 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Bring those legs all the way in. Sort of roll back onto that right side and press yourself up. And we'll come to the left side. So, left forearm on the floor, knees stacked. Or again, you can start with that right leg out long if that feels better for the full lift and lower. And when you're ready, lift up and lower down. That right arm is gently drawing in underneath you, feeling this lift through the whole, right side. Hips are square. 4 more. 3, 2. Last one, pause here as you lift the top leg and then lower it down. And lift as you lower. Lift as you lift. That clamshell open and resist down and open and resist. 3 more. 2. And last one, pause here at the top. Lower that leg down. Bring your right arm now to the floor. Sort of round your torso a little forward as you dip and lift. Think about lifting from that right hip down and up. 6, 5, 3, 2. Last one. And then lower all the way down onto this left glute and bring your knees up in this little rotated position. Extend and bend them back in. And extend and bend. 8 more. And if you need to come a little bit more onto that glute and be less on the side, go for it. For 4, 3, 2, and last one. Bring your legs all the way in, roll forward, and then come into all fours, knees nice and wide, toes tucked under. Bring your heels together and your toes apart. Again, knees are wide. From here, hands are extended long in front of you. You're going to send your weight forward until your shoulders come over your hands, and then send your heels back behind you. If you need to reset, again, toes curled under, heels together, toes apart. And then you're going to lift yourself up into a little pike here. You can, of course, do this in all fours if you prefer. When we come into down dog, you'd come into a child's pose. And then send your weight forward. Find your nice little plank. And then lift up and back down. 2 more. Feeling the connection between your ribs and your hips. As you come forward and back, it isn't really changing. And last one, pause here. You're going to point your toes, heels come together. Your weight is going to go over your wrists and then send it back. And then forward and back. Torso stays nice and long again. You can do this in all fours. 2. Last one, feel the wrap of the hips and the ribs. Lift your hips all the way up. And then from here, you're going to walk your hands back towards your feet. Bend your knees a whole bunch. Round yourself all the way up. Lift your arms up towards the ceiling. Feet are still in this little Pilates V, heels together, toes apart, arms up. Roll down, bend your knees as much as you need. Walk yourself back out to that plank. And you have 3 push-ups here. For 3, press the floor away. 2, last one. Lift the hips, lift the heels, and then float the heels down towards the floor. You can come into that neutral or parallel position if that feels better than being this little Pilates V. Press your chest through, your arms down towards the ground. Shake your head yes, and shake your head no. And then walk your hands back, bend your knees a whole bunch. And if it feels good, sit your heels down, hips down towards your heels, and give yourself a little hug in a little ball, keeping those heels on or as close to the ground as possible. And then bring your hands forward. Start to extend your legs, but still keep them bent. Let your torso hang. Let your arms be long. Make little circles. And reverse your circle. And slowly peel yourself all the way back up. And your shoulders will come on top of your hips. And you are all finished. Thank you. Happy New Year.